We'll try again, and good evening. I don't think the first part worked because the microphone was off. So, a number of things to be saying. Don't want to be talking loud. I'm getting ready to go to bed. And just wanted to end off with another another show. So, I think what's important to understand is that if you're angry, it's unhealthy and nothing's going to get accomplished. Frustrated that I don't have a large stream, frustrated here, frustrated that nobody's listening. But that's okay because that's part of the process of building and doing things differently. And I want to address these things in real time on this channel. Nobody does that. After the fact, they talk about it when they're successful, but not during the situation. The other thing is it has to be consistent. Nobody talks about the situation that's going on. It's sort of picked up here, picked up there. But if we're going to solve problems, we really have to solve it in a non-angry way. Doesn't mean the problem is any less, but we need to solve the problem that's just not getting solved. And there's a number of them. One, if you're unemployed, very difficult to find employment. I'm focusing on sales and AI, but very difficult to find employment. Now, if you're trained in something like a lot of doctors are and not able to practice because of regulatory snafus, that's very frustrating. That's angry. But no one addresses it on a regular basis. It's mentioned here, it's mentioned there, it's mentioned in the media. We've heard the stories of people who are doctors, instead of performing triple bypass or quadruple bypass surgery, they're serving fries. I think we need to address that, but not as a one-off. Really understand what we can do for that. The other thing is we need to talk about the whole aspect of what lawyers charge. They've got large egos. They're mean and unpleasant for the most part. They need to be nicer. And they charge these ludicrous fees, and they don't do anything for the most part. So, not to knock all lawyers, but in my situation, my $500,000 condo was being stolen. I'm not the only one who's being extorted. Right now, it's being sold by duress, and I don't owe anything because they manipulated the Consumer Protection Act, the Condominium Act, and the Arbitration Act. And the court, made up of judges who are former lawyers, automatically will side with the lawyers versus the person who's self represented. And in this case, the condo corporation basically said, oh, the Consumer Protection Act doesn't apply. I didn't sign on for the fact that I lived in a condo and the Consumer Protection Act doesn't apply. Of course it applies. So I owe zero. They put in a legal arbitration. I was the only one who was ever in a legal arbitration regarding the high-tech plumbing. But regardless, it was legal arbitration. They brought in a disbarred lawyer to do the arbitration, and the court hasn't listened to me. And every time I try to go to court, it's thrown out with a 2.1. Even though I've done everything in order to be able to approach the courts are not fair, and they are costing me a $500,000 home. It's unconscionable. So I need to find a lawyer who will get me into court for the judge to listen to me so I can finally have justice and get rid of these illegal liens. Very stressful, but this show that I'm doing is real time resolution of fraud. Real time. It's an industry-wide problem, the entire condominium industry. And I'm going to start naming names. I'm going to be positive and I'm discussing it, but we need to be resolution. Need to be resolution. So if you have a problem with your condo, general, specific, whether it's being stolen or something else with mortgage fraud, or you're a doctor or another profession that you're being bogged down by regulations that you're not able to practice, or any other issue, if you're trying to get into the aviation industry and there's programs, if you're female or a minority, not be able to get in there, we want to hear from you. You can see that right now I'm the only one, and that can be frustrating, except I'm going to be persistent. I'm going to keep making videos. I'm going to keep doing everything I can to do to resolve the problem. So I hope to hear from you. Stay tuned, like, subscribe, and thanks very much.